On this video, I'll be introducing you guys to the most effective way to improve your communication. In the past, I've made some recent videos about how to improve your speech, how to improve your speech fluency, how to stop having speech blockages. You know, these all stem from issues along the lines of speech impediments, stutters, stammers, the whole nine, whatever you want to call them. In my opinion, I don't necessarily think that any of the labels matter. Going along my timeline, growing up, I've had a lot of issues with my communication, a lot of issues with confidence, speaking, and different things like that. I've fluctuated from different times where I was really good at communicating, and then other times where I had a lot of trouble with it and I couldn't even necessarily get a word out. Growing up, I grew up as the youngest in the family of 4 kids, and speaking up wasn't something that I always did. A lot of the times I would hold my tongue. Being the youngest, a lot of the times, I would try to be the mediator rather than just getting my opinion across. I would do things that wouldn't necessarily get my opinion across, but would kind of just help the family, mesh. I would try to be the peacemaker rather than being my authentic self. And different things like that will definitely come into play when you get older and you want to, start to speak up for yourself and different things like that. Also, different issues along the lines of, the speech impediment or the stammer. Different members of my family, I would say mainly my dad, doesn't necessarily like completing his sentences all that much. And maybe that is something that I also picked up on as well. But with all that being said, none of that matters. This one technique is the end all be all. This one technique helped me more than anything else. And I'm here to share that with you guys. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Ike Ude. Today I'll be continuing the Communications for the Nations series. And today I'm just here to present to you guys one little, tactic hack that, I found made pretty much the biggest difference in my communication. I've struggled with communication, struggled with speaking for a long time, and, read a bunch of different self-help books, done my thing with, self-improvement, pretty much tried to help myself self-improve and just the whole nine, just the holistic approach, the holistic spiritual approach. And I have to say that one of the most effective things that I could have ever done was just jumping into situations, just teaching myself to be able to jump into situations rather than thinking about it too much. As soon as I start to think about it too much, that's where the stagnation comes in. That's where I start to feel the speech blocks come in and different things that shouldn't happen. Ideally, communicating is something that you do off top, and communicating is something that you want to do and you stay present when you're doing. And, having this over analytical approach to learning how to communicate is going to overall hinder you. Your brain thinks at a very fast pace, and overall you can get out what you want to say pretty quickly. And it's not necessarily going to help when you overthink it. I think the first time that I really realized that I had some type of speech block issue was when I was a young kid. I was with all the kids in my family and my one older cousin who was kind of watching over us at the time. It was a summer day. It was a hot summer day, and we had some popsicles in the fridge. We had some popsicles in the freezer and I wanted one. So what happened was I walked up to the freezer and I opened up the freezer and I looked at my oldest cousin and I was like, Jane, can I get And literally the just kept going. And it was, yeah, like it was really funny. Like everyone in the family started laughing at me. Like all the siblings were like, what? A popsicle? What? And then as soon as someone said the popsicle, I was like, yeah, a popsicle. And it was weird. It was like, that's where it started. And then it's like, just going on from there, I've always just like been able to feel when a speech block was coming up, and I would try to like dodge it or try to like, say a different word to kind of like get around the word that had a speech that I was gonna have a speech block with, or different things like that. But what I've realized that has really got me over, speech blocks, speech impediments, stutters, whatever you want to call it in general, and really helped my speech fluency thrive and helped me in a magnitude of different situations, just overall in life, is just not giving a fuck. Excuse my language, but genuinely just not giving a fuck. Like, that's really the main thing. It's like jumping into situations and kind of just dealing with it and having a good time, not stressing out over it, is really what has brought me over the hump. Overall, the more confident I feel about myself, it directly translates to how much better I will speak. So again, I've went through different phases where my speech fluency was much better than other times. Now I'm at a time where it's just always good because I always just feel better about myself. I always am confident in what I'm going to say. I believe myself, and just I've overall worked on my self-image enough to the point where I'm confident in vocalizing, I'm confident in speaking, and I'm confident in speaking, my authentic self. So that's overall what's helped me more than anything is, building up a confident self-image of myself, which I have to say I did not have before. So I do remember in high school, overall, I say my speech was generally pretty good. And this had to do with the fact, I was kind of like a jock type guy. I was, I played sports, so I kind of just came off as more of the confident type person. When I got to college, everything changed when it was time to kind of like meet new people and kind of like actually learn to communicate with people in an authentic way. I can't necessarily say that's how it was in high school. So when I got to college, everything changed. Also, I started to smoke marijuana, and that didn't necessarily help my anxiety by any means. So it's like when I got to college, I had a bunch of communications classes, a bunch of public speaking classes that I completely just dragged my face in the dirt in. Like literally, I would have times where I literally couldn't even speak, and it was just so nerve-wracking and awkward, like having speech blocks in front of people that you don't even know, etc. So I would say that the whole issue with my communication is kind of what, took me on a extreme self-improvement journey. You could call it self-improvement journey, call it a spiritual awakening, you could call it whatever you want. But yeah, this all happened around my freshman and sophomore year in college, where I went completely vegan. I started taking cold showers every morning. I started eating really clean. I started partaking in more spiritual practices, from meditation, breathing exercises like the Wim Hof. I started doing yoga and just different things that I believed would help me change literally what I wanted to do. Like what I envisioned myself doing was literally teaching my genes that were set in a certain way to learn to express themselves better. I I literally like I knew that it was possible. I knew that currently where I was my genes expressing themselves in a way that I did not want them to anymore. And I wanted to literally rewire my brain. I wanted to literally change set habits and different things to literally change how I was expressing myself in the real world. I started to tap in with different spiritual people like Ralph Smart, Aaron Doty, Teal Swan. I listened to different doctors like Joe Dispenza, who speaks on different things like epigenetics. Epigenetics means above the gene, which literally says that even though your genes has a set disposition, if you put it into a different environment, that exact gene can learn to adapt to the environment. It says that there is no pretty much set structure for any gene, and that a gene expresses itself based off of the environment that it's in. So I started to put my genes into the best of environments so that it could start to express itself on the outward level in the best of ways. So that's literally what I did. And overall, I've seen a lot of massive changes and a lot of massive improvements, but I do have to say that nonetheless, what has changed me, what has helped me be able to actually express myself in front of people is jumping into those situations. Is jumping into those situations and just doing my best. Is just jumping into those situations. And even though all the emotions of anxiety and different things arise, still being able to jump into that situation, try my best, and then after the situation's complete, giving myself a pat on the back, like being like, yo, you felt like you were gonna die, and look at you, you're still here. You still tried your best. You still did what you could. Yes, it wasn't the best, but for next time, now you have takeaways, because rather than just shying away from the situation, rather than just being so scared that you black out and don't even necessarily know what's going on, you did your best to stay present. You did your best to focus and actually make the best out of situations. And just doing that over and over again, it's like I built calluses over issues that I've had literally for the first 18 years of my life. And I have to say that, I know that there is a lot of you guys out there. There's no way I'm the only one that has this issue. There's no way that I'm the only one that has, cured myself of that issue, of speech issues like this. So that's why I'm here as a testimonial, and that's why I'm going to keep on dropping these videos so that other people can catch on, because I know there are people out there suffering from issues like this. People out there that mentally are probably multi-billionaires, multi-millionaires, but since they can't express themselves properly, they are depressed and they are stuck, doing probably something that they don't even want to be doing because they don't feel like they can express themselves well. But I have to let you guys know that it is possible, and that the more that you start to, put yourself into situations and still, build up your confidence and different things like that, that it is possible. And ultimately what you want to do is learn to, change your self-image and, build up more confidence within yourself so that you are able to present yourself in this world exactly how you want to, nonetheless of different, factors that you might have been born with, different traits that might have been passed down to you. All of that. All of those things are curable with habits and repetition. And if you want to go on the other, self-improvement route like I did, just to, get the holistic approach to everything, then I would also advise that as well, because, you know, hey man, this is life and it's best to be our best versions. So with that being said, y'all, Purified Hustle, the one hack that will improve your communication more than anything else I've ever said. With that being said, y'all, Purified Hustle out with another banger. I'm gonna be dropping a video just about every day. And, you know, communication is probably gonna be my go-to topic. It's definitely one of the biggest things that I struggled with, especially in my early phases in life. And the fact that I've seen such a big improvement in my communication, there's no way I could leave this playing without teaching it. So with that being said, y'all, Purified Hustle out with another banger. Peace.